You are
Yeah,
Masters 3 Zerg.
Masters 3. So I've got a pretty good concept of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue I run into is, I use F2
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of go off vibes for build order.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if I need to clean up my build order a bit. I also am not great at taking fights.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say my game skills probably there, like when to drone and when not to drone, and scouting's so.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is pretty lazy.
Well, cool. Let's take a look at it and I'll give you some insight onto what can be polished up. Are you wanting to add in control groups and work on that and kind of strategize?
I'm kind of debating that. Like, I'd be open to it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know because if I use control groups, I feel like that'll slow me down.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You don't
I
have
tend
to,
to,
because you can get to
yeah,
Grandmaster without it, so I wouldn't force you in a direction.
cool. Well, yeah, I probably don't want to then because I don't think the control groups is necessary. Like, well, let's watch some game and see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do I just click a game, watch with others? I've
Yeah,
never
watch
done it
with
like that.
others, and then once we're in the lobby, right-click me, and then promote to lobby host.
To lead lobby host. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks.
Cool. So ZVP we're starting with,
Yeah, I
and
think this one I basically just got stormed to oblivion on.
yeah,
Which, like, it's like I'm going against like eight not archons, eight whatever you call them. So you have control of this, right?
yes, yeah, I'm able to
Okay. Are we
speed up and
seeing the
slow
same
down.
thing,
Uh,
or
yeah, I'm taking your
just
perspective here.
okay? So now we're on my base, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, do you want me to control, or can you control?
I'm controlling this with the speed and
Got it.
everything. So, do you normally extract or trick at the start?
I do. I usually do. So I'll usually have like emails while I play for my opener, which I know isn't smooth. But I usually extract or trick. I usually do the Serral, or not Serral, the whoever it is build where it's 15, and then I've been going no gas,
Mm-hmm.
and then expanding on 28 with my third hatch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty, call it greedy build, but yeah, I almost always go extract or trick.
Mm-hmm. Cool. A lot of these variations in build are up to personal preference. I don't extract or trick just because it's fewer clicks and it doesn't really set you ahead per se. But it could give you more consistency in getting your second base down. Do you get pro blocked much with this build?
Never.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that
and then
might
you're not
be
moving the camera around at all, are you, right now?
not currently, no. We're just kind of
Okay.
looking at your camera movement. But yeah, so far all of this is acceptable macro. Nothing really stands out as clearly a mistake. Just one note here: every time you cancel an extractor, you do lose like a few minerals. It's not a ton, but it's like 17, I think, that you'd lose every time. So
I think 6 for extractors and then 17 for spore, right?
yeah, you're correct there. It's 18 resources you've lost.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I've extractor trick 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had the cleanest build order because I think I was just off this. It was off this game, so I did an extractor trick just to keep things
Mm-hmm.
coming along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if
And
you
then
take this gasless approach, the third base being earlier is one of the luxuries of that.
yeah, and then I've kind of been mixing, like, do I go all roaches? Do I go all roach and some lings? I kind of just see what the other person's going for and then mess around with my
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't camera anything other than my first, second, and third base. Sometimes I'll do my fourth.
Mm-hmm. One adjustment that I would recommend from here would be
Uh-huh.
creep natural, inject main to
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
That one
Get that
gives
creep
you,
going up.
yeah, more momentum just moving forward, because if you get that creep started now, then by the time they're hitting you with like a warp prism timing, you should have creep to here, which makes defense a lot comfier for yourself. You can see the attack coming from further away, and you have a lot more maneuverability with your units. So that's one small adjustment here that'll give you a little bit more safety for fights later on. But so far,
how do I get to your camera view? Do I just go off of mine?
I'm just kind of clicking through your bases right now, seeing if there are any
Okay.
macro hiccups. But do you use base camera or camera locations at all?
Yeah, I use camera locations with F1, F2, F3.
Nice.
My injects are a little sloppy, and then I stop spreading creep at like minute 4, probably or 5. So I'll get it outside my base, and then I usually stop creeping. Just the area to improve, obviously.
Yeah, Roach Warren is good. Just off the top of your head, do you know the spore timing for Oracle?
Yeah,
safe versus that?
420, and I think I've got. Yeah, so I don't think they're going to do So for better or worse, I'm assuming there's no Oracle harass because I scouted through. I think they're doing glaive. I think I'm prepping for a glaive. Oh no,
Yeah.
I actually think I'm getting ready for DTs. Actually, I think. So I don't know if they're DT. No, I'm not getting ready for DTs. Sorry, it's hard without.
It's all good.
What am I doing?
What I would recommend is like a general, just moving your tech forward here, is trying to get your gas high enough that you can get a lair started around this time. Like right around 4:15 or so, getting the lair started means that you're going to have access to Roach Speed and also Overseer, which both of those allow you to deal with Twilight-based attacks. The +1 ranged attack that you're getting right now, if they were to do a Zealot all-in, instead of DTs, it would hit faster, and you probably will not have the upgrade done by the time that they hit, and you would need those 4 extra roaches. So just to list some timings for you here, if you see that it's Stargate and it's Oracle first, you have to have 335 Spore plus Queen or 2 Queen in a base to be safe. And then the latest...
So 335, I drop the spores.
Yes, just 1 spore in the main, and then 2 queens at the natural you'll usually have by that time.
Yep.
So just having spores around that time. And then for DT, 415 latest spore if ground to be safe versus DT. And then let's also say 415, try to take lair.
Yep.
And then at 100% lair, get Overlord speed, get Overseer and Roach speed. Those 2 things make you dangerous on the map as well. There will be certain opponents that you will face, especially at this MMR bracket, that will have some kind of macro hiccup, and they won't be able to really defend their third against speed roaches. So you have a power spike at around 50 drones of +1 attack, roaches with speed, and 3 hatch. You can just make a lot of them, and it's difficult for Protoss to keep up with that. So I would say, if you see that you're not going to get Zealot all in or something, really trying to have perfect injects and drone to 50 as you get your lair and your roach speed, and then just making some roachling. Then you can be basically up in your opponent's face, checking what they have, while droning and taking your 4th base. It's kind of the idea.
That makes sense.
So push for 50 drones, and then roach ling to be safe versus 2 base all-ins, or apply pressure. And you know you can mouse over your work account in the top right, correct?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah,
So,
and I think I'm going for a Roach +1 timing attack on this. Should be dropping a lair once I hit 100-ish gas. And then I think I'll probably start speed right after. Yeah, so I hit lair. I think I with the Twilight and then the build order, I'm thinking it's I'm getting ready for Glaze. And I don't know if they actually end up doing that. But yeah, I go no spores because I didn't see a Stargate, and I didn't think they do a delayed Stargate into Oracle. But if they did, I'd lose 10 drones.
Yeah, I tend to get them just because a lot of Protoss players are what you would call Rick and Morty smart, where they do stuff that's not necessarily ideal, and it'll catch you off guard because it's not ideal, so you don't expect it. So stuff like they go for a Void Ray and then they go for an Oracle and then they harass you, or they wait for 2 Oracles here and then they send it at you. Like that kind of stuff can happen. So this is definitely the silliest matchup in that sense of they can mind game you a lot and put you in different situations that a Terran or a Zerg can't really.
Yeah, for real.
By the way, fun note, thing to look forward to with the new patch, Immortal DPS has been nerfed.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, Immortals is the... I got 8 Immortals, and I just feel like 200 roaches die.
Hmm.
All right, so I think I'm getting ready for a timing attack. I think I'm late on speed.
So slap a macro hatch with your 4th, or take 4th and 5th at the same time. That's going to boost you a lot.
Yeah, over 800 minerals. I watch your other coaching videos, which inspired me to reach out.
Cool of you to do so. Yeah, you've got...
I love the content. Thank you.
Cheers.
For putting it out.
You've got a solid base of creep. It's better than I expected based on what you said. Like you have your 4th base is pretty much connected and you're already at mid-map. So...
Yeah, this would be good creep for me, and then I assume this creep is going to stop. Maybe I'll do one more tumor. But obviously, I'm trying to impress you with my replays.
One thing to kind of mix into your understanding of Zerg army comps is that diversity of unit type is good. So looking at this army here of Roach, this army, if you took the same value of it and you mixed it up where you had like 3 Ravagers and then some Lings, that would be a better army because it's not counterable by the same strategy. Zealots trade okay against Roaches, Immortals trade well against Roaches. So if they know that you're just making Roaches, they can exploit it like that. They could also shoot down at you with Void Rays or something, whereas Ravagers have a way of playing back against that. So my game plan for ZVP, generally speaking, is the same as you. I go +1 range attack Roaches with speed, but I have Ling Roach Ravager instead of just Roach. And then I get +2 range attack because that helps the Roach Ravager more and it helps your queens more. And then I'll get +1 melee. So my Lings are just better as they're mixed into the army composition. And then I'll get usually +2 melee and +1 armor. So I have really good Lings at Hive Tech is kind of the idea. So yeah, try to mix in not just having pure Roach, but Ling Roach Ravager. And even if you're still upgrading range attack, mixing in Lings is super good because it allows you to afford more luxurious units like more Hydras, more Ravagers, and more tech.
So I know it's like 3 gas is kind of what you want to go for Ravagers. I think I'm going more because I wanted to mix in some Hydras. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I don't do a lot of Ravager play. I know I should. They're just so expensive.
As a fun tip, the Protoss streamers who I know hate Ravagers. They just think they're absurdly overpowered and very unfair. So even though they are expensive and they are flimsy, the amount of damage situations that you have are super high. Let's just list off a couple as this fight is happening. The overcharged battery, you could just bile that down. And then now they don't have overcharge. Pylons you can hit, warped in units like these Zealots, they take increased damage while they're warping in, and they can't dodge the biles. Yeah.
I didn't know they took increased damage. So should I, hypothetically, if they were getting warped closer in, should I like box, call it like 6 Roaches and start targeting individual, or do I just let them do their thing?
Roaches are too low DPS for you to be that picky about it.
Okay.
I would say bile is your spike damage. Roaches and Lings, just let them do their job. As long as they're all fighting, that's great. I'm just making a quick note here so you don't forget. Warped units, warping in units take increased damage. I think it's 50% more damage.
Yeah, so do you think I should have committed to this fight? I think I came in.
I'm going to back it up a second.
Yeah.
We'll go to where you get to their base and how to think about it.
So this is kind of I think the idea is I obviously throw my Roaches in the corner. My thought is they have a bunch of Zealots. I could minimize the surface area, start picking off some drones, but then I'm giving away my army.
Yeah, Sun
Trying to
Tzu
think
would
of,
say always give yourself a path of retreat. And the way that you actually counter their army is by fighting like a Terran. So in this specific engagement, the Protoss would take the best possible fight next to the batteries, and they
yeah,
would take a much worse fight right here. So your job is to be like an annoying bee that runs up and shoots a zealot and gets them to chase you out. Because the zealots have to run up into melee range of the roaches, but the roaches can get a full volley on the zealots before they really get any uptime and damage. So what I would do is I would run up to this, shoot the zealots, kill a couple zealots and fall back and see if they
yeah.
chase, and keep pivoting backward to this and take a fight there-ish. Because
So
you don't need to push in here.
I can't see your camera. Where are you saying to go to? Like the steps or just backwards?
Yeah, just away from their static defense and back toward your
Yeah,
creep. Because you could kite all the way back home to your own creep if you wanted
good
to.
point.
And roaches are
Yeah,
good at that. Lings can't do that because they have to get up on top of stuff to deal damage. Whereas roaches, you can get within roach firing speed, shoot these, or range, shoot the zealots and then fall back. So scooting and shooting backward across the map is something that Pig actually coached me on when he was casting one of my tournament games. I was playing against a Protoss and they had Charge Lot Archon Immortal, kind of like this army, just more stuff. And
yeah.
they were attacking me, and Pig was saying, oh, with Roach Ravager Ling, you should be contesting them the whole way they're going across the map, because every time you shoot, they have to adjust to that, and every time you Corrosive Bile, they have to adjust to that. So you can take a bunch of like semi-engagements as you're retreating across the map and making more stuff. So think like a Terran when you set up fights. I'm just going to take a note of this. Engagements when taking a fight. Roaches can trade well by pivoting back and using biles from Ravagers rather than forcing in and trading out. You don't really want to trade your Roach Ravager out entirely. If you have Ling Roach Ravager, it's generally better to trade the Lings out and then fall back and save all your Ravagers, because they just get
Yeah.
so much value from returning to fights, and their range is so high. So looking at your army here, I would have just not committed, because your opponent is also on 3 base and you're on 4. So instead of needing to punish them with aggression here, you can actually punish them with droning, and this is my normal approach to ZVP. As soon as your roaches get across the map, so you break the rocks, you run at them. You could even just send one changeling from your overseer. I think this might be a way for you to improve your scouting a lot without needing to commit full on to control groups. Use
Yeah,
overseer
changeling.
changeling, and then just put it at their 4th base locations. Use overseer changeling to check 4th base locations when moving to attack. That would let you know the game state, because right now, any new units that you make, like if you make roaches, they're not going to be able to participate in the fight. Like if you look at the roach of the natural here, there's one roach. He's not going to turn the tide of battle for what's about to happen. So he might
Yeah.
as well be a drone. So what I would do right
So
now,
yeah.
I would drone the fuck out of this 4th base before it's even done. You have 6 larvae, and all the injects that are about to fall off, I would make them all into drones and get yourself up to 80 workers with a fully mineral saturated 4th.
So I should be droning. That's one other question I had is, yeah. So if I'm committed to the army, nothing's going to help. I should just be droning right now.
Yep.
Throw off one round of drones at least if the fight's even, maybe 2, and then go back to army.
Yep. Yep, and the macro hatch we mentioned earlier would help you spend that, but ZVZ works in a similar way, where once you've made a big clump of units for an attack, you attack and drone behind it, and as your units die during the fight, then you switch into making more army. So drone through the attack.
Say that one more. Say that one more time.
As you go to attack, you're
Yeah.
droning as you run across the map, and then while your units are dying, then you switch back onto army.
Got
So
it.
you
Okay.
go to attack while droning, and then as you attack, you remake army so you don't lose everything. But always
That
leave
makes
a retreat
sense.
angle. Yeah, and just
Yeah.
spamming way more lings will help you a bunch too. Because lings waste a bunch of time of immortals. That's another one of the reasons why they end up being good just filler in an army. Is an immortal will do 20 damage to a ling, which I don't even think kills it. It's super bad if an immortal is shooting a zergling. And that allows you to make more hydras and stuff too. So any of this, like money imbalance, if you have too many minerals, not enough gas, just make lings. So have a plan for these are my gas units in the army, and then any extra money, make lings.
So you'll love this. I don't even have link speed because I want to save the 100 gas. That's probably a bad. I'm floating enough. I should just get link speed. I skip link speed a lot.
Yeah.
I should get link speed, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
especially as a player who's using F2, it's just such a good unit. Like of RTS games, the Zergling is so powerful and ridiculous with how fast it is and how quickly it can get into bases and deal damage. Just the responsiveness of the unit is incredible. And you don't even have to upgrade it that much aside from speed. It's just stellar. Probably the best unit Zerg has, to be honest. So you have some
Yeah, I
infestors. Do you
skip
fungal
it.
with those?
I do.
Cool.
I only fungal with them, and I set them up for the immortals to try to activate their shields.
Nice. Well,
But then I just get fucking, I guess, storm, storm, storm.
yeah. So the way that I
I'm
would
clumped.
kind of teach you how to set up a fight is you want to set it up like a triangle where your opponent is one point of the triangle and then your army is split into two other points of the triangle so that you get a nice like 180 degrees or more of surround, which makes it way harder to storm your army. And you can still do this with F2. You just box. It's a box click anyway. So we'll wait till your army backs up here and then kind of think through how to set it up. After we go through this replay, we could also take over and practice this kind of engagement a little bit too. So if you look at your army right now, where it is, if you kind of just box the lower half of it, and you were to just click maybe up here or something, like by the stairs, then whenever they walk in, you can just full surround them. And it doesn't really require too many clicks. It's one box, one move command down there, and then you wait until they get there, and then you A-click behind their army. And that way the stuff will just go in, and after you A-click, you can do your two fungals, and then you're good to go. So it's a pretty simple... Go ahead.
Yeah, hypothetically, I could even grab them from the right side, go the long way around, since I have time.
Yeah. And almost never do you want to move command and focus fire. It might have been a misclick, but you don't need to scoot in versus an army like this. You always want to be pivoting back. Pretty much always pivoting back with any ranged attack units that you have. That's kind of your go-to for both Roach Ravager fights in ZVZ and Roach fights versus Protoss in ZVP, is the Roaches want to engage and then pivot backward to dodge. Because if you pivot forward to get to the other side of AoE, then they are also shooting you the whole time you're moving forward, and you are not shooting them. So you get way less uptime of your attacks because you're telling them, move only, okay, now attack now that they're right on top of you, which is not as good as just backing up and forcing the Zealots to run. Because you should be punishing the Zealots for being melee this whole time.
I was trying to make him storm himself, which obviously didn't work.
Yeah. Well, their units are so tanky that it doesn't even hurt them anyway.
Yeah. I have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I should just be doing this all game.
Yeah. Pivoting back like this, if you were doing this from the start, you probably would have won the first fight, so this would be less difficult. Cool. You're dead here, so let's practice that fight. And I'll do it kind of slower, so you have a little bit more time to practice it, but try to get half of the army. We'll set it up to when it's there. Half of the army, click it down, so when I walk through the passage, you can just kill my stuff. Okay.
So I have... Okay, yeah.
I'll back it up a little bit more.
Right. Or I could take it from there, too, and try different... Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, you go back.
So am I able to control...
I will
I'll be able
pass
to
you
control
control of the Zerg, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll be Protoss. Okay, here. Great. So I am Sublime, the Protoss player. My hotkeys might be a little bit messed up as Protoss, but most Protoss just have to anyway. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
So just try to split it in half. So you have 50-50 on either side. So whenever I walk in, I'm in trouble.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
So busted, the Zerg unit.
Appreciate. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's a lot better. And then,
Yeah. It's a night and day difference because you basically cut the value of their storm in half because there are half as many units that they can hit with any of their spells. So they're twice as sad. It's insanely strong.
I mean, that's what I needed to do.
Cool. So
But I was almost thinking too. Are you able to do a quick replay of that?
yes. We have to load it again, but I'm down. It doesn't take that long. So if you
quit.
Yeah, quit out, host it again, and then pass lead. Would take like 2 minutes.
Okay. Actually, yeah. Okay, so watch with others.
Yes.
Because I think there's one more fight that I get stormed again.
After that one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, I didn't.
That's fine. You can zoom ahead to it. I'll show you how to take over.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be the same advice. Is there? Could I fast forward, or do I still have to do ×8?
It still has to do ×8.
Yeah. Are you up in Washington?
I am in Los Angeles.
Oh, you are?
Well, yeah.
San Francisco.
Awesome.
How do you like LA outside the traffic?
It's very exciting. Very lively city. Lots going on. It's a big happening. I used to live in like a suburb forest in Washington, which was more low-key. But it's cool being walking distance from so many things here too. Okay, so you got your opener. Ling Roach Ravager is going to be very strong for you. Just remember the macro hatch with the 4th base, and then droning the 4th base behind your 3 base attacks. I feel like a target drone count that I would go for is like maybe 80 to start with. Anything below 80 is pretty low.
The only problem when I go against Protoss and try for a high drone count, it's like by the time I get a good drone count, I'm going against carriers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't feel like I harass them enough.
Mm.
It's almost like this mid-game, I feel like I've got a chance, because then they, once they get that death ball, because I have trouble with Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
Carriers just get demolished by them.
Mm. Corruptors with armor, normally what I go with, but you can also play ultras against it.
Yeah, I've been trying to do the ultra. I could just never tech up into them in time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's your thought on upgrades? So it's like right now I've got 2-0. I think I even go armored, maybe. But like, do I want to make a tech switch if I'm not 2-0? Okay, so we have this fight, which we just went over. Sorry, I'm asking all these questions.
All good. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so I think there's one more. Oh, no, okay. No, this was a different game where I got stormed to oblivion. Yeah, I think I just go lurkers, but I don't have range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here I don't think it's micro, you just don't have enough.
Yeah, I think I'm getting range.
I can almost see the immortal nerf when I look at this fight. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, this is the problem. Is yeah, boom, boom. I'm just down. Okay.
Yeah. We could do the previous one again if you wanted to. I think it would be worth.
I got a
Triangle of Doom.
I'd be interested to see. think.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause here, and then what do I?
There's a like arrow icon below the time scrub. It's
Yep.
like a circle arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Click that, and then assign you to yourself and me to Sublime.
Toggle replay timeline. Is that the arrow?
No,
Oh,
it's like
take
a
command.
yeah.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna try something new. So I should be army now.
Uh huh.
White block.
2 clumps, and then when I go in, you hit from 2 sides.
Really cool. See that? Do you think 3's overkill?
Yeah, I think that's working too hard.
Okay. Yeah,
It ended up working, and if you can do that, that's great, but reliably, you might not always have enough time. So I think just getting in the habit of boxing it in half. I'm looking at you with an observer. So you could clump everything up again and just practice it again.
Those are TTs. I was like, oh shit, how did those come from? Okay,
So
cool.
clump it in half again, and just do half and half. One more time.
How do I? So then how do I do that?
Just F2 your stuff.
Oh,
Split it
okay,
in.
yeah.
Yeah. Split it in half.
And then if you, let's just say you had your army here already and I didn't have time to get over.
Uh-huh. Then you
I
would
could
just take
just-
the next split in the next location on the map. So just fall
then I
back.
just rotate these over
Yes.
and then come from that way.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
need
you
to
have-
do triangle.
Triangle of Doom. Split half of your stuff in one clump, click it to the side, and you'll take trades that are at least twice as good as you've been taking before. But probably
and that
even better.
fixes Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then should I try to just let at one side maybe auto attack in and then try to kite with the other?
Yes.
Or is that
So
over?
I'm going to add a note here. Box army in half, click part to another path, then A move behind their army, and then the next note is pull back whichever side loses. So if you hit from 2 sides, one side is going to usually be more successful than the other. So if they're really pushing through one side, just full retreat those units and let the side that's winning continue to push. And then you can A move with everything again whenever you have a good opportunity. But you should only really be move commanding backward and attack moving forward. I think you've been move commanding forward some, which isn't really something you want to do. You can give me a lobby host.
This one will be quick, but what do I do when? So this is a common build I'm losing to. I don't know if this is a lower level build, but it's basically no hatch, early ling speed, followed by banelings. So we'd probably watch this at times 4, 8 until. So he's going no hatch. I think I was chatting with him about how I dropped a bunch of MMR. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, Sporcher. So he's going no hatch.
Oh man, they messed up their build.
Okay, good. Good to know they even did a bad job against it too.
It's a 13-12. So yeah, it's going to be hard to use this as a reference because they didn't do it correctly, but the general theme is against this build, they really want to kill your drones and end the game. So your defensive procedure is getting 2 queens hold position on the ramp. That's your win condition versus a lot of these kinds of builds. And then you put 1 spine either in your mineral line or you can put it at the edge of your creep if you have the time to do so. So
yeah, because he comes with me with banglings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the I always have trouble with the bangling switch.
Mm-hmm.
So do I want to be going lings against this? Or so I see the pool, so I'm like, okay, this is normal. But I scout no hatch, then I think, okay, I think I lose that, which you don't want to do, but
Yeah, you should make the drone in your mineral line and you can uproot it and move it later. And then this queen at the natural, this is pretty common where they have lings on it. If you can't get her to the ramp, put her between mineral patches, and then she trades out efficiently. So this whole game flow for you right now is they're trying to viciously stab at you, and you want to just absorb the blow as efficiently as you can. And they're going to kill a lot of your stuff with this build because it's very committed. They don't have a second base, but you have a 5-worker lead on them. So if you maintain that, or even if you get slightly less workers than them, but you have 2 bases, you're still ahead. So if it's versus Lingbane early, make queens constantly. Parentheses, you will lose the queen at the nat sometimes. Make 1 spine in your mineral line in the main. Try to hold position, 2 queens at the ramp. Make some fillerlings to help defend, but don't spam them if you don't have link speed. So your build here, you don't have anywhere, you don't have link speed yet, so you don't really want to make links. You would prefer to make queens and drones. So the whole idea here is use spine, queen, drone to survive this build.
Do you think I should drop a second spine, just knowing so committed?
And I think queens are probably a bit better, but 1 spine for sure. Because if your queens are here, you need to hold position. Do you ever use that?
I do.
Okay, yeah, hold position.
I think this game I just kind of got for because then I saw the link speed and I kept going shit.
I'm gonna put a note here too because it's pretty common that either they kill your first overlord here with the queen, or you forget one because they're attacking you. But I'm gonna put remember 20 overlord to not be supply blocked. Okay, so if you have your 20 overlord here, you can afford 2 more queens right now. And then these 2 queens in the wall are basically expendable. They're just trying to buy time for the spine.
Oh, they're expendable, okay.
Yeah, and you are completely fine losing this hatchery. Against this build that they're doing against you, they have no base here. So if you defend your main with 19 drones, you're still ahead. And what I like to do against a committed cheese like this, if I've been richly mining off of my main for a long time, is I'll go for a quick lair in second gas, and I'll go for earlier muta and then expand, rather than like try to really wrestle them for the base if they're making a ton of links here, but they have no expansion of their own. So it's pretty hard for them to keep up in a muta game if they open like this, just because of how low their drone count is. So losing the natural hatch here is not a big deal. This build should be killing your drones in the main. So if they're not, they're messing up their build.
Sorry, and you said you go muta? You do 2 gas muta, or you try to just expo and then...
Well, the second gas is just to be able to afford the spire, and then you're droning your natural the whole time that the spire is cooking up. So you should still be getting to 2 base fully saturated with spines and mutas. But I wouldn't go for more than 1 spine versus this. Because if you have your 1 spine, you would move it up here too. Move it so it can help the queens. Because if you have that, it's just really inefficient for them to push uphill. Because you can transfuse the queens, the spine is hitting stuff the whole time. It's just very bad trade uphill for them. So 1 spine at the top is fine. Don't need 3. That could be more drones. You do want to keep spending your larva through this too. And if you don't have link speed, you can make drones.
I've got 7 larva. Okay, I got the gist now.
Cool. You're basically... oh, you're not dead here, but... it's a tougher game to play out.
Because then he X that, do we have time for a quick Terran look?
Hell yeah. ZBT. The world's favorite matchup, even for Protoss.
Yeah, right. You guys saved it. ZBT. I don't think it's this far back. think I see the ZVT Neuro Storm. Okay. So it should be like 10. Okay. This one.
Lobius, perfect. Oceanborn. They're nerfing planetary fortress armor. Yeah.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. From 3 to 2. Zerglings are gonna eat well.
Well, that's the other problem I run into is I just run into planetary fortress, especially like mass planetary.
Mm,
I know you do swarm host sometimes against it, but it's like I
not
gotta send
anymore.
20
Stormhost's bad.
banelings. Yeah.
Yeah, 25 Bane is good. Taking base. I like taking a third at 27 supply versus Terran.
Mm-hmm.
The drone that I send is the 21 supply drone. So if you just make that drone and rally it to the third, that's a really nice way to take it before the Reaper shows up.
Yeah, I go no gas, so I never have to worry about that. Oh, actually, this is a special build that I do against Terran. So
Oh yeah, because you get to mess up the Reaper, or sorry, the worker building.
Yeah.
Well, this build puts you in a great spot.
So it's like I put on early pressure and then I go heavy drones behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I thought, yeah, because they only had 2 Marines, I built 2 more two more lings, which I usually don't do.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, this should be over, and then I managed to lose it.
Yeah, one thing for harass against Terran is the damage that you've dealt is mostly mental rather than like actual infrastructure damage. You delayed their natural somewhat, but it was also partly at the efficiency of your own macro developing, so it's almost break even except for the fact that you stressed your opponent, which is good. I respect that. The thing that looks like a hiccup to me is the saturation of the main. You shouldn't rally to the natural until the main is happy and done. And this main is happy and done when it has 16 on minerals and 3 and 2 gases. So keep rallying the main to the main. The first inject that goes out, I usually make drones and then rally it into the gas, but that's fine. But yeah, I would just send these larvae here in the main, right back to the main to be drones. Yeah. Get that up to 16 and then creep tumor at the natural. Doing that consistently against both Protoss and Terran should give you a lot more map control.
Yep.
Oh, there you did it. Nice. Get ling speed. Cool. And then versus Terran, you can drone a lot.
Yeah.
If you play Ling Bane, the way that you're safe, this is a similar theme to what we talked about versus Protoss. You want to get the power spike of Bane speed really quick. So say saturate mineral lines aggressively. We'll say get 415 layers, pretty good. Plus Bane Nest. And then Bane speed into 1-1. You could get 1-1 before Bane speed, but you'll often die to like a Hellbat Marine attack. So it's kind of risky. But if you get the layer, that means you have Overseer access in case you need to fight Banshees. It also means you have Bane speed access in case they do a 2-base bio all-in, which is very common, especially at your bracket. If you're Masters 3 right now, the Masters 2 Terrans, almost all of them know a good 5 barracks tank Marine all-in. That's just like one of the builds. It's very easy to copy, and it kills Zergs all the time. And the way that you would counter that is with really crisp Bane speed being on time, and your larva situation is good. You've got like 60 drones-ish, and you spam a bunch of Ling Bane with some queens at the front. That's kind of your game plan to stop that.
I don't use a lot of Banes. That's something that I need to work on more.
Mm-hmm.
Especially against Marines.
Mm-hmm. Speed Banes are one of the best units in the game. Then
creep.
Queen count ideally is 7 here. 7 to 8.
Yeah, I'm light on queens.
3 to inject. and 4 to creep/fight. That would be something that's kind of like a fundamental asset. You should get used to using those against Protoss and Terran all the time. If you have relatively more Ling Bane, you can get away with fewer queens, but I think 7 at a minimum is good. Just because if they go BC and you have 3 queens, it's just over.
Yes.
Creep tumors are going. Like that you're getting the bases. Lair being faster is going to make you a way more dangerous player. And then just diversifying the army comps. So instead of just Ling, you'll have more Ling Bane. We don't really trade well versus Terran at this stage of the game. You do have an upgrade, so see that as a reason to try. Ah, you got some damage in, wow. Yeah, these Lings that showed up to the fight, that's kind of another example of if those Lings ended up being drones, then this base could be saturated. And you would have 70 workers instead of 56. Spores.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. It was you against, I almost want to say it was like Clint. You played a great game against some very high level pro Terran, and you just kept backstabbing them like crazy.
Yeah.
I've actually tried to implement that a bit. Watching how successful you were at it. Okay, so I keep trying to get this guy to stim and then back up.
Yeah, Banes with speed would just hit him like a truck. As soon as he stepped on creep, this is the kind of stuff that you have a great opportunity to punish because your creep spread is so boss. For him to step forward onto creep, he doesn't know that you don't have 15 Banes right here, right now. Like your Banes aren't quite done yet and you don't have Bane speed. So he's safe to do this. But if you had 415 Lair, you had Bane speed right after that, and the Banes were done, this game is over. He's dead. So that's a really nice thing to see with your fundamentals of you can get into a game state where you could crush them. The main issue is engaging the army correctly. Because you have bases.
You just give up the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Bane hits would be even better with speed. Which I now get late.
Quick Bane speed, 1-1, 2-2, Hive, Adrenoglands.
Triangle. Look at that.
Hey, he split. What a god. Nice.
Yeah, so
Drone the 4th for minerals. Drone the 4th for minerals. Any downtime that you have, like where they pull back here, drone the 4th for minerals all the way. Even if that number is 21 out of 16, that's better than it being 10 out of 16. The 4th base should be droned with minerals pretty fast, just so you can replace units really quickly. The map pool right now, the maps are pretty big, the exception being like Ghost River. But on any map but that, you can get to 80 workers pretty much every game against Protoss and Terran. You just end up having those windows, and that makes all of your movements a lot less risky, because if you lost that same amount of units but you had 80 workers, then you have 925 minerals like the Terran as well, and you can spam units. So it'll make the fights less punishing for you. You can replace your army.
Yeah, I think my issue is larva, which is probably because I'm missing injects. I don't have enough queens. And then I can even throw down another Mac. Well, I can't throw down a Mac hatchery now, but that would keep me.
Yeah,
Okay.
a general.
So I think I checked for 4th. Try to split up a bit. That's pretty good. Okay, well, it's good because I'm about to get dropped. Okay.
Oh, sick fungal. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why it's hard to move out before your max, is because they'll sometimes YOLO their stuff at you. But yeah, this is kind of the compounding of the queens were killed early, so we didn't have the inject up time, and our drone count was a little bit low, so we haven't been able to get as many units out as we want. But you're not dead yet. You're just hurt.
Yeah,
I like putting
I'm ahead on upgrades. Should I get? Do you think I should get 3/3 right now, knowing that I'm a little tight on money?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very strong. keep more Banes in the army. This is a question that some Zergs will ask, is like, if I'm playing Ling Bane versus Bio, how many Banes do I need just to be safe? I would say like 20. 20 Banes is pretty safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like when I'm hanging out, should I be spreading my units around a bit or clump them together?
You can, Ling Bane is so fast that you don't really need to like pre-split per se. If you want to be really lazy and comfy with your setup, make sure you have one spore per base. You can even put them at the dropping points. Like look at your base as a triangle. You've got the main base here is one of the points. This is currently a point of your triangle. So if you had one spore there, that would help. And then one spore here at your third. And then on this cliff, putting 2 is even good, because they can boost all the way on your main, and there's a lot of space there. And then there's one spot right here, and then one spot at this base. But if you put one spore there, it's definitely worth it. Just drone a lot more, and then you'll have the spare drones to be able to throw those spores down, because it makes the match a lot cleaner. If you cut those corners, yes, you do save a little bit of money, but the expected value of the static defense, it shuts down so many bullshit plays that are super risky, like them boosting Medivacs over a Zerg base like that. That's not going to work at a higher level. The fact that they're boosting their Medivacs in, they're disrespecting the fact that you could have more queens. They're disrespecting the fact that you could have spores there. They're disrespecting your Bane count. They're saying you're not going to have enough Banes. I can just like run all my Marines directly at you before pre-splitting. So by getting one spore per base, you cut into those drop plays, and then by just keeping 20 resting Banes, anytime they step on your creep, you hit them like a bus of slime, and they just instantly die. Or you say, okay, wow, they have a lot of stuff. Let me fall back, and my 20 Banes can protect the new morphing Banes. Because if you have no Banes, and you make Banes, you have no Lings, and you're dead. So you need to have at least some minimum.
Yeah, so here, do you think I should, like, I think I've probably lost. I'm still kind of in it because of upgrades. Should I queen up here? Should I just mass Banelings?
You should get Ultras.
Ultras? Okay.
Yeah. Infestor is a pretty good comeback option. You could get a Fungal.
Ultra. Yeah. And I think by the time my Ultras come, I'm done.
Wow, nice.
Okay, so yeah, this kind of gets me back in a little bit.
Yeah, that was a big mistake from them, but you shouldn't really want to take a fight off creep right now. You should be falling back.
Yeah, good call. I think this is probably game.
Yeah. Cool. Well, the main things here were droning more early. I like the pressure build. That's cool. But you can still get to 60 drones against almost any build. Like 60 drone is your first checkpoint against Terran versus 2 base all-ins. And then if you see they have a third, your plan should be 80 drones. And then having more queens pushing the creep forward, and then having more resting Banes in the army, just so you can take fights as soon as they step on creep. Because a lot of Terrans at your level are going to be clumping their stuff, and they're not going to be respecting a quick Bane speed timing. So get the lair on time. Like 4:15 to 4:30 is fine. Get the Bane speed as soon as the lair is done, and all that Marine crap goes away.
Do I do Baneling Nest and whatever it's not lair? Yeah, lair at the same time.
Yes.
And then when lair is done, then I upgrade Baneling speed.
Yep. And then you get 1/1, and then 2/2.
Oh, and then I get, okay. So I was getting 1/1 a little early. I should probably wait for that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Cool, dude. I think the triangle was the main helpful part.
Yes, taking engagements is going to be way easier. It doesn't take that many clicks. A lot of it boils down to understanding the fundamental differences between ranged and melee units, and how ranged units have the option to punish melee units by shooting and retreating. And that's such a strong move of, I attack move at them, and then when they have a success in the fight, I retreat, and I force them to move command against a weaker army. So, yeah, split it in half, click past them, pull back whichever side loses.
And what do you think once they have, call it 10 medevacs? I mean, is that something that I need to try to take care of, or is it
what
just...
I do is I mix in like 8 corruptors.
Got it. Yeah.
And it also works really well with Yes, I get attack upgrade because it's cheap as hell, and it helps them clean the medivacs faster, and also liberators if they do that, or BCs if they do that.
Should I still go Hydras then, do you think?
Versus Terran?
Yeah.
No. If you're against a Bio Terran, you can go Ling, Bane, Corruptor, Ultra.
Okay.
That's an insanely
Protoss.
good composition.
Yeah. Protoss, though, Hydras are good, right? Because it kind of counters Archons. And...
Hydras are more versatile against Protoss, yes. They're still kind of weak against Storm, but yeah, they're relatively better. I personally like Ling, Roach Ravager, Baneling against Protoss. I haven't been playing with the Hydra Den much at all, just because Ling, Roach Ravager is so strong and so well-rounded at dealing with any Protoss ground army. And even if they do go air, sometimes you can just overwhelm them with sheer numbers.
Even if Protoss goes air?
Yes. If Protoss goes air and you have melee upgrades, like if you have good upgrades on the ground and you have ultras, you can base race them as ultras and win.
So I don't know if you've been experiencing this, but I'll like lose to like 2 early carriers, and I just keep building 2 carriers after 2 carriers, and the Hydras don't deal with it, and the Corruptors, you know, they just don't come in enough mass to get them. I mean, do you think throw down spores and
you need to start with 10 queens. 10 queens is your baseline that allows you to get other units to help them out. And defend your bases against the Void sniping you and the carrier sniping you. Because if they do send the first 2 carriers with +1 attack, that's going to be before Hydra or Corruptor is even viable. Like, you can't even get the unit out in time.
And then when I fight with the queens, I mean, should I just try to move them as far back on creep as I can? Because they'll kite me. I only have like 2 or 3 queens.
Try to drag the fight to a spore.
Yeah.
Or
and
a group of spores.
Can hit some interceptors.
Yeah, let me
use the queens to target the.
So I have versus Sky Toss 25 to 30 Corruptors with +2 armor. That's an army power spike. And then I'm also going to say 3 spores touching the main. And that's so if they boost their air units like around the side of the map and they're trying to focus your main base, that buys time for your queens to run up there. Because you don't want your queens to have to sit in the main base for the whole game. You want them to be down by the 3rd and the 4th, protecting that. So 3 spores in the main, and then think about getting a little bit of spore at your natural, and 1 at the 3rd and the 4th. And you have a big clump of queens that allows you to deal with the first 2 carriers, and then you can make either Hydras or Corruptors to deal with that. The 2 main methods would be you hit with 2 2-queen Hydra, and you can just hit them with an attack or Nidus. Or you can go the Corruptor method, where you go 25 to 30 Corruptors and you get the armor upgrades. And then for ground, I would just upgrade Ling speed and melee upgrades. Because that way you can sweep bases. Yep.
Cool. I think that pretty much covers it. Brings us up to time.
Hell yeah. Well, great working with you, man. Cool doing a higher level session.
Yeah, I'll try to reach back out and see how this. I think the main I want to work on is that triangle. Because I keep getting clumped up, and then my whole army disappears.
Yep.
Frustrating.
Yep. That's going to make you way more dangerous player. You'll get way better value for your units. Make more drones, make more queens, split your army in half, and you will be a god.
Thank you, man.
Sweet action. I sent you the notes and email.
Content. Yeah, appreciate it. You have a good rest of the day.
Cheers. Swarm them. Nice. Good Empire, thank you for the 49 months of support. And that was some Neuro coaching. Huzzah!